What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video. And although I said I'm not going to be recording any more basic sets, y'all, let's just keep watching because it's not about the set itself. It's actually about the cuticle area and how we're going to safely remove some of that excess skin. Okay, so this is really just how I do things, tips and tricks to help not cut people and, you know, give a cleaner look. And of course, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the actual end result. This set wasn't nothing to play with. She came for a freestyle and she got it. Okay, first things first, check the description for coupon codes, Amazon storefront, and of course follow me on Instagram. I'm located in Sacramento, California, so if you want to book an appointment, please do. And of course subscribe and turn them notifications on. So first things first, when we are dealing with clients that do have stubborn skin, you know, a lot of cuticle area skin, whatever you want to refer to it as, you need to push the cuticles back. You can see based on the type of pressure that I'm using, I need to use enough pressure that it's going to kind of flake up that skin and push back what's there, but not too much pressure, because you can actually cut somebody with a pusher, even though it's completely dull. I've done it before in the past and it is kind of crazy, but what happens is if you use too much pressure and force, it will end up accidentally slipping under the cuticle area, or if there's a dry area of cracked skin, it's gonna split. Okay, so this needs to be done regardless. Some people, when the skin is stubborn, they'll let them soak in water or do whatever to soften it up. Do whatever you please, but don't skip that step. So next, as we continue on with the prep, this right here is crucial after pushing of the cuticles. And I'm not just talking about removing shine off the nail bed. Now, if you, I meant nail plate, not the nail bed, child. That would be very painful. If you look closely, because I do have it zoomed in for you guys, as I'm prepping, I'm really getting into them crevices and corners where a lot of the skin was very stubborn. Now, a lot of the darker skin, the brown, as you can see, I'm allowing my sanding band to kind of creep over it. Not very hard at all. I've got the speed up a little tiny bit higher than I normally use. Normally I'm about 3,000 RPMs. At this point, I'm probably closer to, I don't know, 4,000 RPMs, not too much higher, because I don't want to cut nobody, and also I do not want to damage the nail plate. So I'm allowing the drill bit to kind of creep up slowly, as you can see, and I'm really figuring out what's dead and what's alive. Now, as you can see, the way the skin is bunched up there, it is dead. If it was not dead, she would have been hurting and cut and bleeding. Okay, and that's the biggest thing on why I wanted to do this video, because there's so many ways to do stuff, but I feel like maybe some people don't explain why we do those things or how we come to those conclusions. So no matter how you do this process, just come to the conclusions on your own of whatever works for you. Okay, so during this part, as I'm easing up towards the cuticle area and allowing it to go ahead and do that, trust me, I do this on my own self, and that's how I know what it feels like, if it does or does not hurt. It doesn't ever bother anybody. You just have to be safe about it. Okay, so normally this would be, people would cut the cuticles or nip them. I don't believe in nipping cuticles. I feel like it's the easiest way to cut somebody and make them bleed. And if someone's a diabetic or, you know, has some sort of medical condition, illness where it can transfer like by blood, or if infection, if the person's at a high risk, you know, you're pretty much screwed if you do something wrong. Okay, so really quick before I finish my train of thought, as I get distracted, I'm going to show you. You can see the difference. It doesn't look too different, but you can see the skin is pretty much kicked up. Right now, if I was going to cut the cuticles, I will use cuticle scissors, and after this I would most likely cut them. However, this particular client, I can see up underneath that skin is more of her nail plate, and so the reason I'm not going to cut the skin away is because later on when I go ahead and do my finish filing, this drill bit, okay, this mandrel with this sanding band is going to need to get still in that same area to seal the cuticles. If I were to try and cut some skin off now, right, later on I can accidentally cut her because we still have things to do. So this is why I prefer the method that I'm continuing to talk to you guys about, and you'll see once I put the acrylic on, you'll see, oh, okay, I understand. So like I said, we're not going to be doing any of the set, any acrylic or anything, but I'm going to explain to you really quick. Once that skin gets pushed up, you will need to go ahead and lay that acrylic and get it up underneath that skin. If you don't, when you go ahead to finish file, you're going to see a big gap between the acrylic and how close you can get to her skin. Okay, which is gonna be a big deal because you're gonna have to go back in and add product, and I've been there, done that, trust me, which is why I do it this way. Okay, so again, finish removing the shine off the nail plate, and we're gonna see how much we can kick up with this particular method. All right, so I do want to let you guys know that I cannot be your foundation for what you know about nails. I'm here to guide you, give you tips and tricks, but just know if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. You got to do what works for you. Okay, I get a lot of people asking me questions, like direct questions about my entire process or troubleshooting or how to solve stuff, and you guys have to remember, I can't see you guys, you know, like I can't see your work. I don't know what type of nail techs you are. So when I give advice, just, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but just keep it in the back of your head as you kind of have your own thinking process, you know. That's all I'm going to say. So as you guys can see, we have shifted on until after the application process, and I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I'm basically going ahead and allowing the mandrel or the sanding band to get pretty close to the skin. Now at this point you can see the skin, like why does the skin look like it's overlapping the acrylic? And that is because, like I said previously, you're gonna have to tuck that acrylic underneath that now loose skin. Before it wasn't loose because it was stuck to the nail plate. Now it has loosened up, and as I go ahead and finish file around the cuticle area, you can see more dead skin is flaking off. Now if I would have already cut this previously, the thing about it is you would still have to flake off some of it with this e-file, because sometimes all of it doesn't cut, or some of it is just like I said, mixed up with live skin. So there's probably areas you would avoid not to nip the cuticles or cut the cuticles. But yeah, this works for me without having to add any extra time in trying to cut away a lot of dead skin. I'm hoping that it will work for some of you guys, or maybe some of you guys do this method as well. The only thing is, okay, first of all, this is me going in reverse because that area is stubborn, right? But if it doesn't want to budge, I personally am going to be like, okay, let's move on. You're going to spend a good amount of time on each nail when you have clients like this. But back to what I was saying, I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, once again, do what works for you. This is just something that over time I started doing instead of seriously breaking out my manicuring scissors, cutting the cuticle area off, and still realizing all of it may not cut if it's very stubborn skin or very thick. So you just have to know, once again, tuck that acrylic underneath that area, because once you get to filing, you are going to expose even more of what's back there. You see, as the skin goes away. So just make sure that your nail is built up how you want it to with the apex and everything, because again, I know I just said that like 3 times in a row, but I'm trying to make it very, very clear. That part does matter. So don't be alarmed if it takes you a little extra time when there's clients that have, you know, extra skin or in that aspect. Just take the time that you have and, you know, work quickly, turn the e-file up just a tad, not too much, just a tad, so that way we have enough resistance, and honestly you will get a really, really nice look. So once again, this is what it looks like after we finished filed, removed all the skin. I'm hoping this helps somebody, and of course I'll see you guys in the next one.